the moral of this story is, if you hit record, it's a better video than if you don't hit record, and that partially is why I haven't made a video in 2 months. So hello and welcome to Invalid Entry. My name is James Taylor and I'm going to repeat everything I just said. About 2 years ago I was working on a game with a friend called Tom called Antiscape, and the reason to work on this game, it looked like this. Well, it looked like this at the time, which was everything was limited to these idea of grids of 16 by 16. The reason we're building this game was really to explore and understand how game design worked, and I don't mean like not just the balance of how things in the game work, but how decisions programmers made things like modding or cheating easier or harder. So it's a really interesting topic to look at, and it really was at the same time I was looking into how Minecraft was working and some of the decisions they made about why Minecraft is so moddable on the client and so hard as a server admin to detect people who are cheating or x-raying. It's all down to how much permission the game designer gives the individual clients versus the server. Some of those decisions are made to allow people to do things like anti-lag, and some of those decisions are there to allow people to actually I'd say mod the game, but also take load off the server, because at the end of the day, the more load you can have the server, the more people you can have in the world at the same time. When you look at games like Eve, which can support 10,000 people, well not necessarily 10,000 but 1,000 people on a grid at the same time, or in a pocket of the universe, and how they've changed what they've done over the years. It's a really interesting sort of technology under the hood. So there's 2 or 3 technologies at play here. One is the technology of rendering a world, and this is the upgrade that I've been working on this year. Is going from, instead of being 32 by 32 grids, it's now an infinite scrolling world, so you can walk infinitely as far as you like in any direction, or practically infinitely in any direction. A bit of a weird flickering there to do with the fact I'm taxing the video card a little bit. Also, this is development mode, so this isn't calling the grids from the server, it's pulling them from a local cache, and it's not transmitting my coordinates to the server. The idea is actually you click something to move and the server would then say whether you can or can't move there, so it's taking some of those cheat options out of the control of the client. I also wanted to allow this game to be run by bots, so I wanted to introduce the idea of player-owned bots in the game. But we are basically building the game from the scratch up. I basically took all the code I wrote 2 years ago and last year and put it to one side and started the game from scratch. I'm using a lot of the same assets. So the assets are all isometric assets. They've all been drawn specifically for this game. I think I drew most of them. Cam may have had some impact. So these are the basic assets we've got right now. And you can sort of see these are the grid, using the grid. So I've got these individual squares of 10 by 10 to help the maths. So that's 16 by 16 and people getting a problem with the maths. You've got these grids being generated. So I've got a lava grid, a grid with totems in. And the main thing I've been working on this past week is the render order again to make sure this renders nicely. I am hitting 30 frames a second. It's just down to 25 frames a second because I was rolling and loading in grids and things. But you can walk behind totems and it looks right unless you walk through a totem, and of course that's the anti-clipping and needs to come into play, so you can't walk there, you can't make that path there. That's where we are really. It is just a very short update on the fact that this is making progress. The animations have all been hand-coded back in again. I fixed some of the issues, like I think when you walked in this direction the waistline was too low down and there was a problem on the legs. The body is fully segmentable, and actually one of the things I'm quite proud about here is that it randomly generates. At the moment you're supposed to be able to select which skin you want, but at the moment it randomly generates the skin for you. So if I close the game and reopen it again from scratch, it will generate me a new person with different colour hair, and it will do that every time I load it actually. So I can do it again with different skin colour, different hair colour, and it's got a whole bunch of pre-coded colours in there. I kind of want my characters to have natural looking-ish, a human looking-ish, rather than I think you see some Minecraft skins and they're just like wacky things. But I want it to be like obviously like a person. And this will tie in later. But all the hand animations, so I can actually make this person walk with their arms out like a zombie or whatever, they're all hand-coded in. We're not using 3D graphics core, it's all 2D rendered. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So the render is one bit of technology using pygame. The other technology we're using are WebSockets and an asynchronous system in the server. So we're not going to be using server threads. We're going to be using an async ticket-based system, basically. I spent the last week or so looking at pub sub models for how to allow for different There will be different processes to allow it to scale, but to allow people to register as they log in to interest in particular grids. So you're not getting updates on stuff which is happening miles away. You're only getting updates on things that are happening in the world near you. The idea for this is there will be one world, one massive world. It is in theory infinite in any direction, and there will be ways to travel around faster. There will be like teleporters or railgun type things which you get in and it will fire you off, 10,000 blocks or 100,000 blocks or whatever. I'm pretty happy with this at the moment. This is where we are. It's going to be a short video today, but yeah, I'm just really happy that progress is happening here. Progress is happening on some of my other projects. I'm hoping to have a cool antenna video for you soon. I'm just waiting for the weather to be a little bit nicer, because every time I get the antennas out, we have a storm blow through and everything has to be brought back down and brought in again. I've hidden them from my backdrop right now. But anyway, that's where we are, and I hope if you're enjoying these, watch out for more. I know I'm spamming my Discord group with it pretty heavily at the moment, but yeah, if you have any comments about isometric drawings, isometric games, or what this thing might be, because there is a plan, there is a very distinct plan what the game is going to be. It might not be the best game in the world, but it's more about the journey of developing it than anything else. Yeah, and I hope to see you all in the next update about this, which I hope won't be 2 months, but we'll see. Thank you very much.